Hey guys, it's Peter from Team Next Gen again. It's been a while since our channel's had a video, so I decided, why don't I put a video up for the channel? Okay, so it's going to be another Vanguard deck list, well, deck profile, and Liberators. Yep, I'm going to show off a Liberator deck. Alright, so first up, this is not the kind of Legion Liberator deck you would expect nowadays, since a lot of Legion Liberator decks, they really revolve around Bluish Flame cards. Well, I'm going to put you in for a surprise if you were expecting that, since this is something very different. Well, I guess you could say very different, but it just doesn't really follow the meta, the current meta, and it uses some pretty good budget cards. Definitely a deck that's probably under like maybe like under 120, under 120. I don't know, since I got most of these cards from trades, packs, and then about trades, packs, boxes. I never got any singles, so I wouldn't know the exact price. But yeah, so first up we have our triggers. But first, well, also the starter, Flaming Passion Liberator Guido. It has the skill of put it into your soul. If your Vanguard's in Legion, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose one with Liberator in its card name from among them, call it to an open rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck. So yeah, that's a pretty good card. Alright, so then we have ourselves 4 copies of Steelblade Liberator Alwilla. Alright, so yeah, that's just, your basic critical trigger. This is not the one that came in the Legion draw deck, so it's not the same, but yeah, I like it. I like the design better. Alright, so then we run 6 of the 6 critical triggers from Great Wish Liberator Aces, I don't know. It's a really difficult to pronounce name. Why does Bushiroad have such difficult to pronounce cards? I don't know. But okay, so yeah, that is our critical triggers. So now we have ourselves 4 copies of Numinous Tree Liberator Elchia. Elchia is just Liberator heal trigger, no skills, nothing in particular. Alright, so then we now have the stand triggers. Ketchgal Liberator. Ketchgal Liberator is a good card. That's all I can say about it, because its ability is put it on the bottom of your deck as the cost. You can do this if it is placed on the rearguard circle from your deck. You can then pay the cost, and if you do, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 card other than this card, so you can't infinitely spam this ability, from among them and call it to an open rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck, not put the cards on the bottom, so it's like Guido. Alright, so then we have our last 2 triggers. Liberator Lucky Charmy. Lucky Charmy is a pretty decent card because it's just a draw trigger. It doesn't have any abilities, so yeah. So yeah, this has a lot of vanilla triggers, as most decks would. Alright, so now for the grade 1 lineup. Now we have 4 Halo Liberator, well, not really 4 Halo Liberator Mark. We have 1 Mark, 2 Airdres, which are pretty much the same thing, and then 1 Igraine. Igraine is the Quintet Wall. Mark and Airdre are the Liberator Perfect Guards. Alright, so now we have ourselves the next grade 1 in the deck. Fast Chase Liberator Josephus. This is actually an awesome card because this deck has a lot of calling from the deck, so this has a good chance of showing up. Its ability is to Soul Blast one card with Liberator in its card name when this is placed on the rearguard circle, and you have, well, placed on the rearguard circle from your deck, and you have a Liberator Vanguard, then you get to draw a card. So it's like Energy Charger, except it costs less, but it requires more specialties on calling it. Alright, so now we have, as our next grade 1, 3 copies of Mayrain Liberator Bruno. 3 of this is good since it's not too reliant, but it's also got a good amount since it is a good card, since its ability is every time a gold paladin is placed on the rearguard circle from the deck and you have a Liberator Vanguard, then this guy gets a 3,000 power boost. So you can spam over and over again, and then you will get absurd numbers. Sometimes numbers higher than the Vanguard itself when in Legion. Alright, so now we have ourselves 3 Board Gall Liberators. Now, Board Gall Liberator is the 10k booster for Legion cards that comes in every trial deck for the Legion trial deck. So, yeah, it's a pretty nice card, I guess. I run 3 of this since I like a little consistency with my boosting. So now, time for the grade 2s. We have 4 of Shower Liberator Traherne. It is the ability of when it's placed on the rearguard circle from the deck, if your Vanguard is in Legion, choose up to 2 of your other units, and they get another 3,000 power till the end of the turn. So that gives a nice boost, since you can use with this guy, if you have 2 of him on the field, when he is put on the rearguard circle from the deck, then they pretty much count as 2 cards called from the deck at once. Yeah. So now we have 4 Liberator of Royalty Fallon. It's the 12k attacker. And then we have 4 copies of Oath Liberator Aglavale. Aglavale has the ability, when it's placed on the rearguard circle from the, well, just placed on the rearguard circle, you can counterblast 1, and if you do, if you have Liberator Vanguard, then yeah, that's the cost. Okay, so then if you do, look at that 3 cards from the top of your deck, you can then search for up to 1 card with Liberator in its card name from among them, call to an open rearguard circle, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So pretty much, it's just another card that calls. So there are a lot of calling cards, which is really nice. Now we have our grade 3s. 4 copies of Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. Now, this is the only Bluish Flame card that I will ever use, since I do not like any of the other ones. I just don't, because those are kind of odd. But this one has the ability of, when it performs Legion, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 with Liberator in its card name, put it to an open rearguard circle, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, this is mandatory, so you cannot just Legion and then not look at the top 4. You have to look at the top 4. So should only Legion when you have at least 1 open rearguard circle, because anything else would be a waste. So now we have 3 copies of the main card of the deck. I don't have 4, so once I can get 4, I'm going to switch 1 out with Percival. But its ability, it's Morasame Liberator Coil. Coil's ability is, it has the Legion skill of choose a card with the same name as, it's a Persona Blast of either this or Traherne. So yeah, it's a pretty good chance, because it's 5 after you've Legioned. It's Persona Blast that, and then Counterblast 2, and then look at the top 4 cards of your deck, search for 2 cards from among them, call them to separate open and rearguard circles, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, and they get 5,000. So that means it's kind of scary how consistent this is for a Liberator card, since that means you get to choose, while with a lot of, like, I like this more than most Gold Paladins, since this is more consistent, and it's not as limit break requiring, so it makes it have a lot of power. So, yeah, that's why I like this deck. So, this is Peter from Team Next Gen, and I'll see you next time.